There is a huge trend that investors are buying real estate outside their home country. This is a $400 billion industry. Sometimes it's lower prices, sometimes it's higher returns. What could possibly go wrong? For example, in some countries, foreigners cannot own land. In some locations, it could be tough to sell your property or resell your property. In some locations, you may come across a developer who will just disappear with your money or wouldn't finalize the project. So there is a whole bunch of pitfalls you may fall to, so pay attention. Is it really worth risking tens of thousands of dollars? Today, in this video, we'll discuss how to avoid falling in these traps, how to protect your money, how to invest wisely and without bad surprises. Hello everyone, it's Artem. I'm co-founder of Insight Estate, where we help investors to acquire properties in Thailand with confidence. Our team has dozens of years of experience in real estate. I've been living in Thailand for a few years already, but sometimes the real estate market here feels like the wild, wild west. Well, maybe the wild, wild east. While this is a very interesting market for investment, I know people who invested and lose their money just because they have chosen the wrong property. Step number one, or maybe even step number 0, is to define why the heck do you want to buy property here. Is it a full-time living with your family? Is it a pension? Or it's a pure investment, you just want to rent out. How you want to rent out? Whether through management company or managing it yourself, these are all the questions you need to answer before you start looking for something. How to pick the best location. For example, you came to Phuket for vacation, you loved it here, and you decided to buy an apartment, right? So a lot of investors treat this process as if they are buying for themselves, even if they are stating that this is a pure investment. So what might happen is that they will choose a property that suits their lifestyle, but they are not paying attention to a wider or bigger picture, right? So this is, for example, Phuket is a tourist destination. So what people really need, or majority of people need, is a nice studio in a nice hotel with good amenities close to the beach. They don't need 2 bedrooms or 3 bedrooms, something with views or with some kind of the weird infrastructure no one will ever use. So you have to treat your investment in accordance with your goal, right? So buying a second home for yourself might be a very, very different choice from buying an investment property from which you want to get profits. And how to choose a developer, right? And the person who is building that. It's all up to the strategy. You may choose something very safe, like a local Thai company, ideally listed on a local stock exchange with dozens of years of experience of delivering projects. You can buy there, that's a safe choice, which usually brings you a little bit lower returns. Or you can choose someone who is more fresh to the market, for example, or who is just starting, and you can get a really nice deal from those people. This will boost your rental yields even higher. So this is always a question of risks and returns, as always in the investment field. So understand your risk appetite and don't shoot for something crazy. If you are not ready to lose your money, then go with the safe option. Ideally, if you can find someone on the ground, local local trusted person who can help you at least get rid of projects that are not trustworthy. That's the main thing. It could be a Thai developer, it could be an overseas developer. The main thing is get rid of options where you will definitely lose money. That's your number one priority. So next thing is whether you need to visit Thailand to buy something. For you might be a surprise that I would say that like 70–80% of the deals are completed 100% online So people are buying remotely, and this trend is growing more and more. So of course you can come to explore everything, to feel everything, to see and to touch by your own hands. But in general, that's not a necessity, and you can do everything online. That's a safe and easy option. And even if you come to Thailand to see everything by yourself, that's not a remedy actually, because most likely you will check one location, maybe two locations. You will not see the whole island of Phuket, for example, or the whole Bangkok. There are still a lot of options that you will need to check online, right, without going yourself, because the options are limitless. So try to narrow the choice down. You can do it perfectly online, and then you can visit the properties either yourself or during the Zoom call with your broker or the developer. That's no problem at all. So next question, let's imagine you have a certain amount of money to invest. You can buy a house or you can buy several condos. What should you prefer? And actually, it's up to you, to be frank. I wouldn't make your life any easier here. My take is that diversifying into several condos, maybe in different regions and at least in different projects, might be a good idea just in terms of risk management. So if at any point in time you will require a certain amount of cash and you will need to sell your properties, I think it's easier to get rid of one apartment than a villa or a house. And also you can get a hit or discount your apartment and save two apartments for yourself for generating income versus going crazy and lowering the price on the single unit that you have. So my approach would be, if it's your first investment overseas, it's better to diversify. It just will give you a peace of mind. So, and what to buy? An apartment in a condominium or a villa? Again, these are two very different strategies. In my opinion, if you're just an investor who starts this international real estate journey, it's easier to go with a condominium. So you have a lower point of entrance in terms of in terms of the price. It's cheaper than buying a house. That's one. Second, usually you will have the management company who will take care of everything. And in general, taking care and maintaining the unit in a condo is much easier than doing same with the house. And then there is a question with land when we're speaking about villas. So foreigners cannot own land to their name in Thailand. And this makes the acquisition of a villa and the land plot a little bit more complicated. Again, it could be done, but as a first-time investor, I would focus on a condo just because it's much more straightforward and easy. So what about due diligence? How to check whether you have not a scam but a proper project? So my biggest advice would be to find a trusted partner locally. You can ask maybe your friends who already bought something, or you can ask your trusted broker in your home country whether he or she knows someone who might be of a help. There is a lot of information that is not easily accessible, like who owns the land where everything is built, or whether all the papers are in order and everything is fine. So there is a number of questions which are quite complex. So my biggest advice would be to find the local professional who can be trusted. That's one. And especially if you are speaking or you're about to acquire a second-hand property on a secondary market, you will need a local lawyer for sure to do the proper due diligence, because when you're dealing not with a developer but with a person, there are much more things that can go wrong. So consult the professionals. So as you can see, the process is straightforward, but there are some complexities on the way. So if you need help or you just want to explore in more details and see the options for yourself, don't hesitate to contact us. There is a link in the description below this video. Click it. What's also important to understand that usually in the majority of cases, there are no buyer side commission fees, so you don't own anything to the broker that help you with the property acquisition, and it's only the seller side who is dealing with the broker commissions. Again, this is applying mainly to the off-plan developments, so if it's a secondary market, the situation might be different. But again, if you are looking on the fresh developments, the new builds, you don't have to pay any commission to the broker. You just pay the price of the unit and you're good to go. Also, what interests a lot of investors, are there any hidden payments when you acquire a certain unit? I would say that the cost of the unit is the main payment that you will make. Like few things that come on top of that is some government fees or taxes or stamp duties, you name it, right? So a few percentage points comes from here. There is a one-time payment which is called the sinking fund that you will need to pay when you get your papers done, right? When you become the owner. And then there are maintenance fees, naturally, for dealing with the swimming pool and the common areas and these type of things. So the sinking fund tops several $1,000s, usually less. It depends on the area of your unit, and it comes like $15, $20, $50 per square meter of your property. So the more luxurious property you have, the higher the number will be. But in general, comparing to the overall price of the property is below 1%, definitely. That's actually the list of the hidden, not so hidden payments you will need to make on top of the property price. And one more important thing about the financing, right? So as a foreigner, you are not entitled to a proper banking mortgage in Thailand. That's a quest that's close to impossible. You have only options by the developer, and usually again, as a rule of thumb, need around 30%, 30, as a down payment for the property, and the rest is being paid in 0% installments until the handover date. So you can consider that as a mortgage alternative, but usually 30% down payment and the rest in 0% installments until the completion. These are the main questions that my investors ask me before acquiring property in Thailand. And after everything is clear, it's a matter of choosing the perfect property for you and for your strategy. You may want to check this video over here, which I made specifically about this topic. Enjoy it, and I'll see you in the next one.